Hey guys, this is Jay Calder with Jay Unboxing here, giving you a personal prediction for Oscar Valdez versus Robson Conceicao. And as always, this is just my take. Your prediction can be left down in the comments section below. We'd love to hear them all. So for a little bit of fight info here, we have Oscar Valdez, the champion or a champion at junior lightweight, holding the WBC's portion of the title, taking on Robson Conceicao at the Casino del Sol in Tucson, Arizona, airing live on ESPN. So, a little bit of build up to this fight. It's a totally normal fight that has no controversy or anything attached to it, and has had a rather boring lead up. Nothing interesting at all about it, just a junior lightweight titleist in Valdez defending his gold for the first time against a Brazilian in Conceicao. That's it. And they have a little bit of history with each other. Back in the amateurs, the awkward Conceicao actually defeated Valdez at the 2009 Pan Am Games in Mexico City. He later went on to win Olympic gold in 2016 in his home country, as a matter of fact. So, while something of a stay busy fight on paper, because you might not necessarily recognize Conceicao as one of the bigger names at 130 pounds, there is something of an interesting backstory and perhaps something of a kind of hill to climb for Valdez. So without getting too much more into the backstory here, let's get into the fight coming up this weekend. Now, for Conceicao to win, I think he needs to keep the fight awkward. Ultimately, you have to embrace who you are as a fighter. After an extensive amateur background and having been pro for a while now, Conceicao is simply who he is, and that's an awkward fighter. He has some fundamental skills, of course, don't get me wrong, but he does ugly pretty well. That's just some fighters for you. So, use it to your advantage. Make the exchanges wild. Come in awkward at different angles and unique angles. Allow for what makes you different as a fighter. Allow for that to be what you show Valdez and give him a different look that makes him struggle having to try and deal with it. I would also say look to have success with the lead left hook. One particular trait that may shine through with that awkward style is Conceicao's lead left hook. It comes at odd angles, odd times, and with different arcs to it. Again, embrace that. Don't try to get irresponsible with it by leaving yourself open, but throwing the shot after a range-finding jab or after pressing Valdez back may find you success, especially if it's thrown, like I said, from those kind of awkward positions. Valdez has been rocked badly by a left hook before. This might be an opportunity to see if that chin has kind of grown to be able to take that shot if you're Conceicao. And finally, don't let Valdez push you back. Valdez probably has a better chance of fighting going forward or backward, so maybe you have to pick your poison. Still, it appears to some extent that the only way Conceicao stands a chance is going forward. Therefore, if it means he faces a more counter-punching Valdez, then so be it. That's the poison you must pick. That could mean having to take a few more shots than you'd like, but it's the only way Conceicao has a chance of really opening up with his unique offense and scoring on his own. Otherwise, it's really just an issue of this being a more traditional boxing match, which I don't necessarily think favors Conceicao. Now, for Valdez to win, I think he needs to land the left hook inside Conceicao's left hook. Valdez is the tidier boxer of the two men. He has faster hands and throws his shots with less loop in them. More straight to the point, shall we say. While you don't want to trade with Conceicao too much and give him his best chance of winning the fight, you want to pick the right times to throw that left hook inside of the left hook of the Brazilian. Make it quicker, more to the point. The impact of the more direct shot, while Conceicao might be stepping forward, could be the biggest weapon for Valdez on the night. I would also say don't let Conceicao get wild on the inside. Naturally, I said Conceicao might want to make it a little more awkward. Valdez is going to have to look to try and counter that. Conceicao wants it to be a fight. Naturally, Valdez is going to benefit from making sure he determines when and where the two actually do fight, and when it's more of a boxing match. That means taming Conceicao on the inside, turning him, holding on to him when needed, just ensuring that Robson doesn't really get a chance to get going. This could lead to frustration, which leads to mistakes that Valdez can then capitalize upon. And finally, block out everything except Conceicao. And perhaps more than anything else for Valdez, he needs to focus on Conceicao and not anything else in the world. And I'm not one for tea, wink wink, but the rumor has it that he might have a few other things on his mind currently. That can't be at the forefront of his mind on the night. Conceicao has belief in himself with that amateur win in his back pocket. He's unbeaten as a professional. He's awkward. And now he has motivation to want to beat the hell out of Valdez. If Valdez has his mind anywhere else, that can happen. Mental focus is a big part of any sport, especially one where you get punched in the face. Still, top-flight athletes tend to get to the top by being better than others at blocking that sort of stuff out. Still, it might impact a fight. I think it might in this one as well. I do expect Valdez to have some moments where he struggles. Enough to lose the fight? Possibly not, probably not. But I can see this being closer than the odds suggest. More on that in a second. Early, I think both try to set the tempo and the mood of the fight. It may take Valdez a few more rounds to get his feet under him, and he's a slow starter to some degree anyway. He may even be stunned by a few shots here, or rattled, or at least bothered or concerned by them. However, eventually his quicker hands and more direct shots will trouble Conceicao as the fight wears on, and a left hook will badly drop the Brazilian. While he might make it back to his feet, it'll only be to be finished off as the referee steps in to call a halt to the action. Valdez via late fight stoppage. Getting back to those odds, I think they are ridiculously wide, especially considering all of the circumstances. They have Conceicao as an underdog at plus 900. Do I think that, trust me, if you're someone who believes in the upset here based on those circumstances, especially, you're loving them. But I just don't think these odds right now are indicative of what this fight might actually produce, with Oscar Valdez being at a minus 1,800 as a favorite. I think those are terrible odds, obviously, to bet on Valdez straight up. If you do have a hunch that Conceicao might actually make him pay for, whatever you think he may have done outside of the ring in preparation to this fight, some decent odds at that plus 900, but laying a small bet just because it's a title fight, keep it interesting, sounds about right to me, but again, the odds are a little bit off on this one for me. Not a lot of action either way. In any event, my prediction record going into the weekend is 30-10-3 with 10 exact. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. What are your thoughts on Oscar Valdez in general in terms of the lead up to this fight and all the sort of issues that he's had to deal with that really have been brought on by himself and his camp? Any predictions, bets, so on and so forth? Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow. At jcaldwell_JOB on Twitter. You can email me at junboxing@gmail.com. Love to hear from you there. Also, be sure to check out junboxing.com for schedule, results, betting odds, rankings, and more. And as always, until next time.